The meeting will come to order. We are now holding our final budget hearing for the 2009-2010 fiscal year, Wednesday, September 16th at 2009 at 5:01 p.m. At this time, I'd like to call on Stan Bowling, our planning director, to give the invocation, and then the Pledge of Allegiance will be followed by Commissioner Flesher. Please rise.
Let's pray. Lord God, we pause for a moment again to give you thanks for this beautiful day. We thank you for the opportunities that you've given us. We admit that we need you. We need your help. And we ask for that again today. We ask that you would help our leaders. Let them have your eyes and ears to recognize needs and opportunities. And we ask, Lord God, that you would bless the results of this meeting and how they're carried out in the coming year. And we give you thanks for the opportunity to do this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to our great nation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this time, I will turn this over to the County Administrator, Joseph A. Baird, for the budget overview. Mr. Baird.
Yes, Commissioners. The proposed budget for the 2009-2010 fiscal year is $302,670,415. That's $83,400,000 less than the prior year, or 21%. In the proposed budget, we will be reducing ad valorem taxes by $9,866,333, which is roughly a 10% reduction. We're eliminating 41 positions. We have, with those position eliminations, account for $2.3 million. Our fuel costs are down about $625,000. Health plan changes amounted to about $513,000. The reason the budget's down also is because we've had to reduce our capital spending due to the lack of revenue. All our revenues are down due to the economic environment. So that's a brief summary.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Okay. All right. We will move then to the general fund. Mr. Baird?
Yes, the proposed millage for the general fund is 3.0892. It is 9.4% below rollback. The proposed budget is $77,314,789. That is 11% less than the prior year. We're decreasing there's a net decrease in positions of about 10. This budget also, even with the decrease, includes the opening of the bracket library. We'll be opening the bracket additional library when we still have a decrease. We tried to come in with the budgets, even though there is a reduction in all our revenues, we tried to deliver the same services and not try to impact any services in the general fund. So that's a brief summary of the general fund budget.
Okay. Any comments or questions, Commissioners? Okay. The next, at this time, is there any comments from the public on the general fund? Seeing none, consider any proposals to the budget. Commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the millage rate of 3.0892.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion to approve the millage of 3.0982. That is 9.38% below rollback. And then I need to read we are approving the millage rate and the resolution. And the resolution is a resolution of Indian River County, Florida, establishing the tax rate to be levied upon all real and personal property in Indian River County, Florida for fiscal year 2009 through 2010 for the general fund. And that's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the resolution, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimously. That moves us to the motion to approve the dollar amount and the budget.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'd like to make motion to approve the proposed budget of $77,314,789.
Okay.
Second.
Got a motion from Commissioner Flesher with a second from Commissioner Wheeler to adopt the proposed budget amount and the budget resolution, which states, the resolution of Indian River County, Florida, amending the county's budget officers' estimates of receipts other than taxes and balances to be brought forward for fiscal year 2009 to 2010 and adopting a final budget for the general fund. That final budget is $77,314,789. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimously. Now that moves us to the MSTU. Mr. Baird.
Yes, MSTU, this is the Avalon taxing unit that covers the unincorporated area of the county. Anyone who does not live in a city or lives in the unincorporated area of the county pays this millage, and it's for unincorporated area services. The proposed budget is 1.0774, which is 0.1672 or 13.4% below rollback, and is also below the current year's millage, and that's even with the large tax, Avalon tax value decrease. The proposed budget is $27,029,020. This is about $5,000,001 less than the current year, or 16% less. The highlights of this budget is that we've eliminated 9 full-time positions, 6 part-time positions, and that had a cost of around $976,685. There's also a decrease of $890,000 in transfers out. One of the harder decisions in this budget is that we eliminated the lifeguards at the tracking station, which in the current year was costing us $110,628. That's the brief summary of the reduction.
Okay. Is there any questions, Commissioners? All right. At this time, I will open this up for any public comments.
Good
Welcome.
evening. Good evening.
Yes, sir.
Just wanted to let you know that our conversations to try to work out a way to keep that beach covered at a less cost have been ongoing, and as early as this morning, Captain Frazier identified about $10,000 within our capital expense account under Ocean Rescue to apply to the hiring of a part-time lifeguard. The cost of a part-time lifeguard at 3 days a week, which we believe would adequately staff that beach, is $21,000. So when you subtract the $10,000 that we've identified, the cost is still $11,516. I don't know what the reaction. He did send that up the chain today on the email, but I haven't heard anything, and I don't know where Captain Frazier is in terms of whether or not we could find that funding somewhere. I know there was a concern amongst the commissioners and the recreation director about whether or not the park would be single coverage versus double coverage. This amount of money that we've identified would have the park covered 8 days out of a 14-day schedule with double coverage. 6 days, of which would include weekends. 6 days would be single coverage, but on those 6 days of single coverage, there would be a dedicated officer in charge that would be available for backup and breaks. We had set a standard in Indian River County of having each one of our guarded parks double coverage. Have been asked whether or not why we would roll back from that standard. Wouldn't it be better to actually not have any lifeguards there as opposed to having a single lifeguard? And as a life-saving professional, I would reject that. A half a loaf is better than no loaf. These are tough times. We expect the economy will lift. The economy will come roaring back. There is, it's America. There's a lot of enterprise here, and even your own projections show that the county will grow in population over the next 30 years. I think that we've established this service for 26 years unabated. In the tracking station beach since 2000 up to the present time, we've made 26 rescues, and we've had 20 major medical incidents where transport was involved. We also do a number. We've had in the current year 54 minor medicals. Those medicals quite often involve jellyfish stings. So if the lifeguards are there to abate some of the concern about a jellyfish sting and we're not there, you're going to be receiving 911 calls from whoever is on that beach if it's open to deal with a jellyfish sting, because people come out of the water, they're welted up, they're in pain, they don't know what hit them, and they're going to call 911. So you're going to get some additional responses from 911. I see in the current budget on page 19 there is a reserve for contingency, which has increased 926% from last year and puts $190,000 in a reserve contingency fund. We're asking, we've bent over backwards to find the $10,000 that would help put the lifeguards in that beach. We're asking if we can draw $11,516 out of that reserve fund to fund this. One final statement. I think we have two other people that want to speak, so I appreciate the time. I know it's tough, and we really do appreciate the fact that none of the lifeguards were laid off. That's a big, big thing. We recognize that. We appreciate that. We only wish that we had been consulted, at least the ocean rescue staff had been consulted a little early, because I think the clock ran out on us on this. And I think had we been approached a little earlier than this last-second kind of last-ditch effort to get some money to keep people protected and from dying, which I contend is very real possibility if that park is open to tourists and whoever happens to wander through there, I think $11,516 is worth the cost of a human life. It could be a citizen, it could be a child, it could be an elderly person, it could be a tourist. And I think had we more time, we would have come to an agreement and an understanding on this. And I hope that the late hour will not persuade you not to seriously consider this at this point. I'm just very apprehensive about a number of different things with 35 years of experience. I don't want to see another dead body, and I don't want to see them on Indian River County beaches. We have a perfect track record, safety record. We are safety-sensitive positions, which means that you are actually voting to withdraw a public safety function from our beaches. I hope you really understand the impact of that, and I really, again, I appreciate the fact that at least the existing lifeguards were not laid off, but I ask you to please do the right thing.
Thank you, Mr. McManus.
Could just, Jason, can you get a guy 3 days a week for the 21,000? Is that?
The estimated cost of a part-time lifeguard at 24 hours a week is about $21,000 a year with benefits.
Okay, thank you.
Our concern is it doesn't look like, and we've been meeting with Lieutenant McManus and Captain Frazier at length numerous times to try and work out a solution. That budget is really tight. We've got a staffing chart. It shows if you're going to provide double coverage at a beach, you've got 2 people there at a time, 7 days a week, 8 hours a day. That's 112 hours to cover. So a 24-hour additional part-time lifeguard, I think that's putting their plan is to put the lieutenant and the captain in a chair a number of days a week. But still, it doesn't look like we can cover those days from our standpoint without going into overtime. the first time somebody calls in sick or vacation, the hours don't appear to be there in the first place for us to make that work. Unfortunately, this is one of the hardest decisions in the budget we made. Not something that staff was very happy about, but unfortunately, with the limited resources, this budget is basically all staff. Mr. McManus indicated that they had put together an idea to pull $9,600 from the operating accounts. We don't think that's feasible. The operating accounts are very tight. The dollars are there. They're recommending taking $4,000 from other operating supplies, which has a budget of $11,000. To date, we've spent $9,600 there, and we're on pace to spend that $11,000. Things that are in there. We have a $3,100 annual contract for the maintenance of AEDs, all kinds of various different supplies that are purchased throughout the year. Looks like we'll spend those dollars. Same thing in uniforms. We've got union contracts that require us to provide certain uniforms for our employees, and the uniform expenses have been where we're budgeted. We have $4,000 budgeted. We have spent about $3,900 this year. Last year we spent about $8,000 on uniforms. So we are concerned about reducing those operating. Some of those $200 from the institutional supplies, yeah, we could probably get away with that, but there's not a lot of wiggle room in those. So we're concerned about using those operating dollars as well.
Okay, I guess my concern, Mr. Chairman, is the lifeguards have been pretty adamant that they understand if we need to close the park, we should close it, or have it unguarded. But if it is unguarded, it should be closed then, so you don't have a risk. Can we get creative here? We've gone to our pools on a seasonal basis. I talked to the town of Indian River Shores, a council member there. Their prime use is December through March, our snowbird season. We're busy during the summer, but can we shut that park down October, November, and by that saving have enough hours saved up in the budget to keep it open the peak periods? Or it just seems to me if we're $20,000 away from keeping a beach guarded, that we can get creative, and if it means we close it down for 2 months a year, then we can get the savings that way. And look, I think we just can get creative here and keep this thing going.
I think we need to point out a couple of things. That we're in we not only think we have to make budget cuts this year, but again, the following year, not just 9, 10, but 10, 11, based on the information we're getting from the tax collector, there's other double-digit cuts coming the following year. There'll be even harder decisions. What we'll continue we are meeting and coming up with new ideas with lifeguards. I think we could come back to you. It'd be very hard. We keep meeting and talking with them, and they're definitely, we're very fortunate to have very committed lifeguards, and we have, I think, probably the best in the state, and they're passionate about their job. We'll bring something back if there's any way we can open it on a part-time basis. I think, you'll see all across the state a lot of beach parks have closed due to budget cuts. And per the commission's direction, we tried not to cut any services if possible. You said keep them, but don't come back with the excuse you have to cut all these services. And that was the direction you gave staff. And we've tried. This was the only cut we made. But we'll continue to meet with the staff and see if we can come back to the board. And keep it open as long as possible, savings, but we've got to watch our overall expenses. We've cut these budgets for 3 years running, so they're down to the bone, but we'll continue to meet and see what we can do and come back with a schedule in October if we can do it. I think that's the safest within the money, if you don't mind, I think.
Yeah,
and they're being creative. I want to thank them. They're being extremely creative. They're actually more or less, a lot of the salaried ones are donating their own time. Right. And things like that, and putting in more time, which we couldn't ask for more. We're very fortunate to have those kind of committed lifeguards.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other comments? Yes. Welcome.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
While he's coming up, maybe staff can get me information. I'd like to know how many lineal feet we have of public access lifeguard controlled beaches, including the city, And how long is the tracking station park, and what percentage would that be of beach access?
I'd like to,
We
the lottery numbers
What
too.
we didn't look at it that way, but we can get that information. We did it by the number of users. By far, the tracking station was the least used beach. It's next to Con Beach. It's next to Humiston, very close in proximity with the city beaches.
Okay.
So we thought with its low attendance, the lowest attendance, that's what we looked at, rather than closing the other. There's 5 guarded beaches, Treasure Shores, Golden Sands, there's Wabasso Beach, Round Island Tracking Station. By far, the tracking station has the least attendance, and that's how we looked at it. But we can get you that lineal.
Well,
It's in the comp plan.
In fact, if you could just convert that to make it easy to, what percentage of publicly guarded beaches in the county would the tracking station park in it? And I know it is the lowest activity, and I don't think our beaches are overcrowded either. So I think, and we've cut across the board. It's not just the beaches, it's across the board. And I'd have to be showing that there's a extra benefit to having that park open.
The park open or the park guarded?
Well, I think that if it was not guarded, it should be closed.
Okay. All right, welcome.
Good evening. My name is Peter Wernicke, and I'm actually an orthopedic surgeon here in the county. Been a county resident for 20 years, and I also wish to speak on this issue. I have a little bit of credentials in this because I'm the United States Life Saving Association medical advisor and the American Red Cross National Advisory Board aquatic director, and also on the medical board of the International Life Saving Federation. These are all life-saving groups that around the world are devoted to saving lives. I have always been extremely proud of this county and our beaches. And once I found out that we were going to eliminate lifeguards on one of our beaches, I think this is a huge mistake that we're about to make. I think that Joe and everybody have been bending over backwards to try not to let this happen. Because if we leave this beach open, people will die. There was a report years ago by the CDC, about 6 years ago, report on lifeguard effectiveness. And they reviewed beaches where things like this exactly happened. There was a beach that was a swimming beach. There were lifeguards there for years. And due to budget cuts and other reasons, they eliminated the lifeguards. Within a year or two, in Nassau County, Florida, 5 people drowned and 20 were injured. The next year, they brought their lifeguards back, and there have been no drowning since then. In Ocean Beach in San Francisco, in 1998, they decided to pull some lifeguards from that beach. 7 people drowned. They brought their lifeguards back the following year. No one has drowned there since then. I think that even if you close the doors to that beach, the same people are going to go to beach accesses, they're going to sneak around, they're going to get there. And I think people will drown just because they're used to going to that area. Who's going to take care of those people when they get in trouble? I mean, is Indian River County Shores Fire and Rescue ready to do that? Have we beefed up other patrols that are going to respond to those things? Are those agencies qualified in going out and making aquatic rescues? I don't know, and I doubt it. I think that leaving this beach open and not having lifeguards there would be akin to saying, well, we need to cut the fire rescue budget, so we're just not going to serve this part of the county. Like this square mile isn't going to be served by that. I mean, if we leave it open and allow people to swim there and say we're not going to rescue you there, we've done almost the same thing, which I think is a tragedy. So I'm just here in support of these lifeguards. I can give you all the statistics to help back this up. Treasure Shores Park had 4,800 preventative actions last year. Now, that's not rescues, but that means noticing somebody's in a rip current, directing them out of that, and preventing a rescue, and probably preventing a death. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Warnick. Yes.
I just wanted to ask Joe what the intentions of the county would be as far as securing the beach facility in the absence of the lifeguards.
Well, currently the lifeguards aren't there the whole time that that beach park is open. They're there till 4 o'clock. We keep the beach open. That beach park opens before they get. I think they might open it, but it's open. I know. I've been there at 7 o'clock at night, and there aren't lifeguards. We keep it open. We also have other beach accesses that don't have lifeguards, and we post it as a non-guarded beach access. that's what we would do. But presently, as it is today, the lifeguards get off at 4. We keep the gate open until it gets dark.
Is that
It's around
customary
7 o'clock, I
operation?
think.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Is that the customary operation for the other facilities as well?
Yes.
Yes, I mean, the others are all, the other beaches are like that. They're not guarded from the time they're open to the time they're closed. I think it's from 9 until 4, if I'm correct.
Yeah, 9:10
5.
to 4:50.
9.
Yeah, basically 9 to
To
5.
5.
9:10 to 4:50. They're guarded. They're open sunset, or sunrise to sunset. So there's a couple hours on either end of that where they are open currently and unguarded, depending on the time of year. That number of hours changes.
And we've been doing that for the past 26 years at that facility?
I know that, yes. I mean, that facility, I think we bought that around 84. Well, in 84, ever since that's open, it's been that way. We bought it when it was a sewer plant on the ocean, and we made it a beach.
I just have a concern that the expectation of anybody responding to the beach for recreation would anticipate to have the lifeguard present, whether they be tourists or citizens of Indian River County that use the beach as recreation, have used that outlet for recreation. Yes, there are other beaches, but that particular beach has been guarded for that many years, and I'm just concerned about the liability that we have now presumed by having had guarded for that many years without locking the gates, without securing the site, as opposed to just bringing the unguarded time period down to a wider exposure to the community.
That's if you all want to, I mean, we can, if the commission wants, you're right, but we think it isn't a problem. You post it not guarded. We presently have, a lot of counties have done it all over the states. A lot of cities have had to do it in the last couple of years. You post it non-guarded beach. And but it's at your decision. I think it's also, you have to be very careful, because also when you post at limited hours, you've got to you make sure that people are aware that it's limited hours. We do have other beach accesses all over the county that are, that have parking and everything that do not have guards. They're posted, no lifeguard on duty. So, but it was a hard decision. I will say it was a hard decision. We had make a lot of hard decisions in the last. We've eliminated 160 positions in the last 3 years. We've made a lot of hard decisions, not ones we would like to make in a perfect world. We're still working at ways of coming up with solutions to keep it open, but you've got more of these decisions to make, and this is just the beginning.
Just a few comments. I mean, I understand the thought of putting up a sign saying that it's an unguarded beach. Well, a sign has never saved a life. And you have people who come down each year, live near that beach, and they're accustomed to their 12 or 13-year-old getting on their bicycle and going to that beach. Well, I don't know that you can count on that 13-year-old to read the sign, judge how dangerous it is, whether he should go in the ocean or not, because his parents are comfortable about knowing that he's going to a nice beach that's usually guarded. And if we still let him go there, I think we're going to have trouble. And I'm also not aware of too many beaches closing around the state. And as I said, most of the ones in the past, historically, they've stopped doing lifeguards. They've had an emergency, they've had problems, and it's come back. And even our county to the north, last 2 years, has greatly increased their lifeguard presence because they had lots of drownings. And that has been highly successful. And here, this great county of ours is going to go in the opposite direction. And I just think it's very dangerous, and I appreciate your time and great concern on this.
Thank you, Dr. Warnicki. Okay, Commissioners, any other questions? Any other public comment? Yes, sir, welcome.
Okay to speak?
Yes, sir, please, name and address for the record.
Thank you for allowing me to come up and make my point.
And what was your name, sir?
My name is Peter Paskowski. I live at 7300 20th Street at Village Green.
Thank you,
I'm,
welcome.
One of your constituents. And I understand the difficulty that you have in making these decisions. It's a no-win situation in times of hardship. I also want to tell you that I moved down from Massachusetts 3 years ago, and I went to every beach in this county. One of the reasons that I moved here was to come here. I met people in the past 3 years from all over the world in Vero Beach. I want to get to the point now, though. I went swimming one day, and I happened to be in the water, and the lifeguard was pointing to me to do this. Now, being a rookie from Massachusetts who doesn't know anything about really big ocean stuff, I didn't know what he meant. So I started to swim in and realized I was going backwards, swimming forward. And finally, the lifeguard jumped in, and within 15 seconds, it was no more than 75 feet, 100 feet out, but I was going backwards. The lifeguard jumped in the water, swam up to me with his little red trailer boat, and said, "Grab onto this, I'll get you in." And he did. And that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Commissioners. Any further public comment? Okay. All right. Any changes to the budget, Commissioners? Okay. A motion to approve the millage rate and adopt the millage resolution.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make motion to approve the proposed millage rate of 1.0774, which is 13.43% below rollback for the MSTU.
Second.
Got a motion from Commissioner Flesher with a second from Commissioner Solari to adopt the following resolution that establishes the millage rate at 1.0744, that is 13.43% below rollback. And it's a resolution of Indian River County, Florida, establishing the tax millage rate to be levied upon all real and personal property in Indian River County, Florida for fiscal year 2009-2010 for the Indian River County General Purpose Municipal Service Taxing Unit. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimously.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for the MSTU for the 2009-10 fiscal year at a amount of $27,029,020.
Second.
Got a motion from Commissioner Solari to adopt the proposed budget of $27,029,020. Excuse me, let me do that again. $27,029,020 for the fiscal year or 2009-2010, and to adopt the following budget resolution, which states: a resolution of Indian River County, Florida, amending the county's budget officers' estimates of receipts other than taxes and of balances to be brought forward for fiscal year 2009-2010, and adopting a final budget for the Indian River County General Purpose Municipal Service Taxing Unit. If there's no further discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimously. Transportation Fund, Mr. Baird.
Yes, the Transportation Fund does not have a millage. However, it does derive about 70% of its income from taxing funds, the general fund and the MSTU. The Transportation Fund includes our Public Works Department, our Engineering Department, Traffic Engineering, Road and Bridge, and Stormwater. It delivers all those services. The proposed budget is $14,372,690. That's $3.1 million, or around 17.75% less than last year. The transportation budget, the reason we're able to reduce it is we have cut 12 full-time positions. We've reorganized our management structure and reduced it, which saved us $243,423. The staff reduction saved us $853,000. Our fuel costs are down about $250,000. So, and once again, we've tried to deliver the same services last year, utilizing less money. That's the summary.
Okay. The total proposed budget again is $14,372,690. Is there any comment from the public? Seeing none, Commissioners, is there any changes or proposed changes to the budget? Seeing none.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the proposed budget of $14,372,690 for the Transportation Fund.
Got a motion from Commissioner Fleischer and a second from Commissioner Wheeler to adopt the proposed budget and the budget resolution, which states, a resolution of Indian River County, Florida, amending the county's budget officer's estimate of receipts other than taxes and of balances to be brought forward for fiscal year 2009-2010, and adopting a final budget for the transportation fund. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimously. Emergency Services District, Mr. Baird.
Yes, the Emergency Services District, everyone pays this out of their own tax budget except for people who live in Indian River Shores. It's for our fire and ALS services in the county. The proposed millage is 1.7148. It's the same as last year, however, it's 11.3% below rollback. The proposed emergency service district budget is $31,022. That's about $31,022,252. That's about $4,286,000 less than last year. Even though this budget has a reduction, we're opening a new fire station in the Gifford area, which will be an ALS engine, and that'll have, it's Station 12. It'll have 7 full-time employees. The main reason for the reduction in this budget is we had a lot of repairs and replacements and upgrades of about $2.4 million in the current year. Also, there is no capital. We know we cannot continue not to buy rolling stock, but due to the economic situation, we do not have any new fire trucks or ambulances in this budget. And that's a summary of the Emergency Service District budget.
Thank you, Mr. Baird. Is there any comment from the public on the Emergency Services District? Okay. Any changes to the budget, Commissioners? All right. I'll entertain a motion for the millage rate and the millage resolution.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the Emergency Service District millage rate of 1.7148 and to adopt the millage resolution.
Okay. I'll second that. We've got a motion from Commissioner O'Brien and a second by me to adopt the millage rate for the Emergency Services District and the resolution of Indian River County, Florida, establishing the tax millage rate to be levied upon all real and personal property in Indian River County, Florida for fiscal year 2009-2010 for the Indian River County Emergency Services District. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion.
Passes unanimously. Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the emergency services budget in a dollar amount of $26,736,213 and to adopt a budget resolution to that effect.
Second.
Got a motion from Commissioner Solari with a second from Commissioner Fleischer to approve the dollar amount and the budget resolution that states, a resolution of Indian River County, Florida, amending the county budget officer's estimate of receipts other than taxes and of balances to be brought forward for fiscal year 2009-2010 and adopting a final budget for the Emergency Services District. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimously. Now we move on to the environmentally sensitive land acquisition. Mr. Baird.
Yes, the next is the debt service for the environmentally sensitive land acquisition bonds. The first series of bonds that we did, this simply pays the debt service. The proposed millage is 0.0725. It is a decrease of 46% below last year's. Rollback does not apply. This basically all it does is cover the debt service costs for those bonds, as I just previously mentioned.
Okay. Is there any comments from the public on the environmentally sensitive land acquisition bonds? Seeing none, any proposed changes to the budget, Commissioners? Therefore, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Commissioner O'Brien.
I'll make a motion to approve the environmentally sensitive land acquisition millage rate of 0.0725 and to adopt the millage resolution.
We've got a motion to approve from Commissioner O'Brien with a second from Commissioner Fleischer to approve the millage rate for the environmentally sensitive land acquisition and the following resolution, which is a resolution of Indian River County, Florida, establishing the tax millage rate to be levied upon all real and personal property, personal tangible property in Indian River County, Florida for fiscal year 2009-2010 for the general obligation land acquisition bond issue. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimously. Now, yes, sir.
Chairman, make a motion to approve the environmentally sensitive land acquisition budget amount of $2,330,010 and to adopt the budget resolution.
Second.
Motion from Commissioner O'Brien with a second from Commissioner Flesher to adopt the dollar amount and the budget resolution that states a resolution of Indian River County, Florida, amending the county's budget officers' estimates of receipts other than taxes and of balances to be brought forward for the fiscal year 2009-2010 and adopting a final budget for the general obligation land acquisition bond issue. If there's no further discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The motion passes unanimously. Now, that moves us to the land acquisition bonds for the 2004 referendum. Mr. Baird.
Yes, this is for the voter-approved $50 million bond issue for environmentally sensitive land. This is simply the debt service. The proposed millage is .3154. It's about 10% above the current millage rate. The proposed budget is $4,793,098.
Is there any comments from the public regarding the land acquisition bonds for the 2004 referendum? Seeing none, any proposed changes to the budget, Commissioner? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Commissioner Fleischer.
motion to approve the proposed millage rate of .3154. Rollback does not apply. And the proposed budget amount of $4,793,098.
Let's take them one at a time. Let's do the budget resolutions, or the millage resolutions and the millage rate. I will second that, if you're good with that, Commissioner Fleischer.
Yes.
We've got a budget, or a motion to approve the millage rate and the millage resolution that states a resolution of Indian River County, Florida, establishing the tax millage rate to be levied upon all real and personal tangible property in Indian River County, Florida for the fiscal year 2009-2010 for the general obligation land acquisition bond issued 2004 referendum. And if there's no discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimously.
Mr. Chairman, that was an effort to save you from reading the paragraph
And
again.
I appreciate it.
You got it memorized now.
I think that they've got this in a pretty formal area, so we'd better take it one at a time, but I appreciate that.
Motion to approve the proposed budget amount of $4,793,098.
Got a motion to approve the dollar amount with the resolution to back it up from Commissioner Fletcher motioned, and Commissioner O'Brien seconded that. And the budget resolution states a resolution of Indian River County, Florida, amending the county's budget officer's estimate of receipts other than taxes and of balances to be brought forward for the fiscal year 2009-2010 and adopting a final budget for the general obligation land acquisition bond issue 2004 referendum. If there's no further discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimously. Now we'll move on to Mr. Baird, would you like to talk about the aggregate?
Yes, aggregate millage is something that's required in the Florida statute. It's a benchmark, so it kind of puts all the counties on the same level. What it does, it takes your full value of the county and divides by all your ad valorem proceeds to come up with a benchmark, so we're all the same. No one actually pays this millage. It is simply a benchmark. The proposed millage, aggregate millage, is 5.1436. The rollback rate is 5.7466. This is 10.5% below the rollback rate. We just simply need to announce it into the record.
Okay. Thank you. Item number 6. Mr. Baird.
Yes, the solid waste district. The solid waste district, you pay for all the garbage collection in the county. Everyone pays this, and it is a non-ad valorem taxing district. The waste residential charge is $40.38. Equivalent residential unit charge is $64.61. The commercial waste generation rate is $28.13. The readiness to use charge is $17.10. These are all below the current year's costs. The solid waste district has proposed a budget of $10,869,504. This is a decrease of $760,607.
Okay. Is there any comments from the public regarding the Indian River County Board of County Commissioners Solid Waste Disposal District? Okay. Any proposed amendments to the budget, Commissioners? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the following non-ad valorem residential and commercial waste generation unit charges and readiness to use fees: $40.38 per residential waste generation unit, $28.13 per commercial waste generation unit, and a readiness to use fee of $17.10 for the current year. For the coming fiscal year.
Okay.
Second that.
All right. We have a motion from Commissioner Solari to adopt the non-ad valorem residential and commercial waste generation unit charges and ready-to-use fees, and that was seconded by Commissioner Flesher. And if there's no further discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimously.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to adopt the solid waste disposal district budget amount of $10,869,504.
Second.
Got a motion from Commissioner O'Brien with a second from Commissioner Solari to adopt the budget amount for the solid waste disposal district and the following resolution. A resolution of Indian River County Solid Waste Disposal District establishing the assessment rate to be levied upon all real, tangible property in Indian River County, Florida, for fiscal year 2009-2010 for the Solid Waste Disposal District. If there's no discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimously. Next, that brings us to the adoption of non-ad valorem assessment charges. Mr. Baird.
Yes, good, Jason, you can go ahead and read those.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Davis. These rates are all charges per parcel acre. The first two are Vero Lake Estates MSBU. That is an MSBU non-ad valorem assessment district that provides drainage, paving, and street lighting improvements in the Vero Lake Estates subdivision. The charge for that is $19 per parcel acre, no change from the current year. The second is an East Gifford Stormwater MSBU used to finance stormwater improvements in that area. The charge there is $15 per parcel acre. That is no change from the current year. The remainder of these rates, or the remainder of these districts, are all street lighting districts, and they're all per parcel acre charges, and there is no change from the current year. First is Gifford, $25. Laurelwood, $18. Rock Ridge, $10. Vero Highlands, $23. Porpoise Point, $13. Laurel Court, $27. Tierra Linda, $23. Vero Shores, $21. Exora Park, $19. Royal Poinciana, $28. Roseland Road, $1.50. Whispering Pines, $18. Moorings, $12. Walker's Glen, $24. Glendale Lakes, $40. Floralton Beach, $38. West Wabasso, $21.
Okay. Is there any comments from the public regarding the non-ad valorem assessment charges of items 1 through 19? Seeing none. Commissioners, do you have any proposed budget, any changes? Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Commissioner Fletcher.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the proposed charge for each non-ad valorem assessment district charges, items 1 through 19.
I've got a motion to approve
Second.
from Commissioner Fletcher with a second from Commissioner O'Brien. And the charges, item 1 through 19, with the following resolution. A resolution of Indian River County, Florida, amending the county's budget officers' estimates of receipts other than taxes and of balances to be brought forward for fiscal year 2009-2010, and adopting a final budget for the solid. Let me start all over again with that one. And adopting a resolution of Indian River County, Florida, establishing an assessment rate to be levied upon certain real properties in Indian River County for the fiscal year 2009-2010 for all the non-ad valorem assessments. If there's no further discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Baird.
Yes, next we have the remaining non-ad valorem budgets. The first one is the Housing Authority, $141,047. Special Revenue Funds, $50,418,069. Other Debt Service Funds, $1,242,233. Capital Projects, $16,830,000. Enterprise Funds, $46,525,442. Internal Service Funds, $24,068,300.
Okay. Is there any questions from the public or comment from the public regarding the non-ad valorem dollar amounts? Seeing none, Commissioners, is any changes? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to adopt the non-ad valorem dollar budgets as presented, read into the record, and to adopt the budget resolution.
Second. Thank you. You've got a motion from Commissioner O'Brien to adopt the non-ad valorem budgets and the budget resolution that states, and seconded by Commissioner Solari, and the resolution states, a resolution of Indian River County, Florida, establishing the assessment rates to be levied upon certain real property in Indian River County for fiscal year 2009-2010 for all the non-ad valorem assessments. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The motion passes unanimously. Commissioners, is there any further business to be transacted at this time? I now declare this meeting adjourned.